Hi guys.
Hello guys.
We're just waiting for a couple of you to join. Stole your line.
Yeah. We are back again. Although I'm not the Renegade Master. I am very much expecting to get wet because it's looking very cloudy. So we shall see.
Good job. We come prepared then. Do you know what? I've just realised I've not got my torch off here.
Oh, did I not give you?
Actually, did you? Why are you just saying that now?
Oh, Jess.
Hi Jess. No, I don't think I did get the torch.
Do us a favour, Jess. Just let us know if you can hear us.
Hi Sammy.
Hi, Sammy.
Thank you for the tags, Jess.
Does someone let us know that they can hear us? We're not getting any of the stuff at the top, are we? Okay. This could be an interesting one tonight, guys.
Yeah. Ah, thank you, Jess.
Can hear us? Good, good, good. Right, guys, we're a little bit late. We did actually get to where we need to be a couple of minutes late anyway because traffic was quite bad. We've had to travel just over an hour away for this one, and it's all down country lanes. So, but as well as the traffic, when we've got here, it actually looked like the church was still being used where we're heading towards. So we've kind of just had to hold back a little bit. So, but there's another part to where we are first, so we're going to go and have a walk up that bit first. So
No, I
wasn't driving.
I wasn't driving. No.
I was driving, so I can't even blame Connor's driving today. So, but we shall see. We're
Hi Lee and hi Mum.
hi guys. Right. Well, I'll tell you what then. What we're going to do to try and make sure no one's actually at the main venue, we're going to take a walk up to the other part first, and I'll read the story as we go.
Oh, I saw my name on there. I was scared.
Yeah. You're a wanted man.
Thought Ian was going to mention me in story time.
Yeah. You're a wanted man. So
I'll switch the camera around.
You switch it around and then just show them that, because that there behind there is where we're going to be going. We're in quite a...
We're not just turned up to look at bushes, by the way.
We're not
just
looking at bushes. Behind there is where we're going. We're in quite a nice area, should we say, guys. So we've got to be wary of what we look like if we stand out to people, because we've already had a few funny looks from people walking dogs that obviously know the locals. So,
hi Karen, I hope you're well.
Hi Karen. So we've just got to be wary of people noticing us, but we know there is another way in, because there's a way through those bushes that we can go to. So
who wouldn't recognise Paranormal State of Mind?
I know.
Hi Donna.
It's the only problem now, isn't it? We're too well known. That's the
Massive. Hi Jackie.
Paranormal is massive everywhere we go.
Jess had posh voices at the ready. Well, I shouldn't have an issue with that. I turned posh last week, didn't I? Not last week, sorry, a couple of weeks back.
Yeah, for no reason at all.
That's a very 80s bush. I think we should start introducing Joke of the Week.
I don't know about that.
Hi Sherry.
Hi Sherry, you're right. Right, so as you can see, guys, we're walking down here currently. To the left is a church. This is the location of the main part of the investigation, but it was currently in use. So we're going to go to the other part because it's all linked on the same lane, and as I'll tell you in the story. And because of the location of where we are and the houses opposite, when we do go onto the church site, we're going to be going around the back. So we tucked away out of the way. But that's where all the actual graves are anyway, so.
Hi,
And
Kim.
that archway there, that's bricked up. You come here. The archway there, that's bricked up. That is a massive part of the story as to what we're here for. And I'll tell you why. It was left like that on purpose and bricked up rather than being made as a proper wall. And I'll tell you why shortly. So, the other part to the story goes up the road behind us, which is known as Church Lane. Now, we can be in the graveyard, we're not doing anything wrong by being there. I know this church was one that was left open. I don't know if it still is. It may be one that we can get inside, but we'll see later on. That'll be one that we'll have to do when it gets dark. So, right, I'll start reading the story, guys. We are at, as we've just walked past, 12th century church. You walk. You don't need to focus on me.
I think we do for story time.
You'll hear my voice. I've got a mic. It's fine. Let's show people the location we're at. We're at this 12th century church today with a huge history to both it and its immediate surroundings. All connected by one lane. Church Lane, the lane we're on. I'll leave the biggest part of the story till last, but there's actually a field and a pond behind this lane leading from the church that was once the site of a large mill. The mill itself was demolished in the 1930s after becoming damaged in the war. There's massive amounts of reports and a lot of history detailing something called a phantom miller. The phantom miller roams the grounds, not just of the field where the mill was, but also of the pond, also of this lane, and also of the church. Now, the reason he supposedly roams the grounds, as you see, this is an affluent area currently, but there's apparently buried treasure. I'm not saying he's a pirate, but he guards his treasure, or treasure that he knows of. And as a result, he's quite often seen with his 4 horses going around. Public footpath, Morris Street.
Right.
Hi guys, you right?
Hello.
So we're not able to come down this spot, guys, with our car, but it is a public footpath. This is the part that leads to the field where the pond is, where the mill used to be. As I was saying, he protects his treasure and does so quite aggressively, apparently. A lot of reports stating an angry spirit, but he does so with his 4 black horses. Quite often using those horses this way. I think. So it definitely says public footpath there, doesn't it? This is a strange public footpath.
Sally says, hi Sally.
Hi Sally. And he's quite often seen leading his horses to the pond to drink, because the pond was about when he was there as well. Now, as I said, he apparently quite sternly protects. So we've got to be careful. Public footpath over private land.
Yeah, Jackie, Sally, I was trying to be a bit discreet then. I turned the camera back onto myself as we walked past the people. I probably looked a bit awkward on the camera. I get shy sometimes. Ian would tell you I get shy, don't I?
Yeah.
Camera shy. Yeah, it's a really nice place where we are, Karen.
It's a really strange situation, this, because I know this is private land, but it is a public right of way through it. Now, we're not going to be able to get to the pond or to the tree in question. That's also part of it. The pond is there, you can see. So as you zoom into that, you'll see the pond. So that's where apparently you'll see the Phantom Miller taking his 4 black horses to drink. He patrols these grounds. This is still Church Lane. The part that we're on now is still Church Lane. I'm not going to walk down this hill because I know we can't get into the next part without going onto private land. And for us not to be able to get there, it's quite a walk down that hill. It's like going on a roller coaster, really. Like, whoa. You're getting to the top, about to drop. Right, because there's a private tennis club there, which is what we can hear right now. And if you look in the distance, guys, the tree mound that's being kept there, you see that in the middle of the field? That is where the tree is for the second part of this story. I know we can't get onto that without crossing onto the private field, so we're not going to go up to it, but I want to tell you the story because 3 things relate to this venue. So we've talked about the Phantom Miller. The second part along the lane is a 900+ year old tree which is in there. The reason it's like that is because it's protected. It's on its own, it's been left because it's protected. That tree...
Thank you for the stars, Emma.
Thank you very much, Emma. That tree was, and is documented as being, a favoured writing spot for the one and only William Shakespeare. So the fact that it was a favoured writing spot and he didn't drive, you probably gathered that we are indeed very near to Stratford-upon-Avon, which was Shakespeare's home. So we're not actually in Stratford, but we're very close to it. Kim, no, I'm not actually. I'm Black Country, so I'm actually from Wolverhampton. So we are Brummies. And Connor's not Black Country. He just loves the Black Country. So, but anyway, I diverse. I'm being distracted there. So anyway, we are close to Stratford-upon-Avon, guys. I won't tell you exactly where because, like I say, that church, I'm aware of the story, and I'm also aware that it could potentially be open, and we may be able to try and get in there later on when it gets a bit dark and people won't see us. But the tree, like I say, is documented, and that's why it's protected, and that's why in the middle of that whole vast field is just one singular circle of trees, because they're not allowed to remove it. And 900 plus year old tree, and he described it as a muse place. So he used to go there, sit up against the tree, and he'd write and come up with ideas, and it was just a place that he enjoyed being. And the thing is, guys, look at the view around us. None of these buildings would have been here. It's a lovely view, so you can understand why. None of these buildings would be. These are all modern. So this is a nice place. You wouldn't have heard any traffic because there'd be no roads back then. It would have been lovely. Cheers, Karen.
If anybody's watched one of the ones we did, would it be a couple months back now?
We've done it twice, haven't we?
Done it,
we had to do it the second time because we lost the recording.
We've done 2 videos at one location, and Ian's actually spoke.
It's a place called Gibbets Lane, guys. It's a very, very, very well-known haunted location in the Black Country. We've been there, and there's actually verses to say that you say in Black Country lingo. And obviously, with me having the correct accent for it, I say it because Connor can't.
I was just fascinated the whole time Ian was saying this.
I say it, and then afterwards Connor's going, what's that mean? So, but no doubt we'll return to Gibbets Lane at some point because we've always had a lot of activity there as well. But anyway, guys, I'll crack on with what I was talking about because the story time is being extended here. So, as I was saying, that place there is protected, that tree in the middle of that field. And it is reported quite often that people see Mr. William Shakespeare walking around these lands. It was somewhere he used to enjoy coming and somewhere that he relaxed. So if that is the case, why wouldn't he come back? If it was one of his favourite spots, why wouldn't he? He also attended the church that we're going to. Now, the church itself, as I say, it was a regular spot to find Shakespeare, and the doorway that I've just shown you, which is now bricked up, was actually kept as it was, but bricked up because they no longer use that, but they didn't want to take out the door frame because it was Shakespeare's favoured entrance. He used to come in from the back because this is where the fields were they had been writing from, and he'd attend church through the back door. Like I said, it's a 12th century building that underwent massive repairs and extensions in 1961, as you'll see from the outside where you see more modern red bricks. But the church itself, other than the Shakespeare link, has been in the news several times due to haunted happenings taking place. There's apparently a very friendly and helpful spirit that roams the grounds of the church and goes inside the church. And as I say, this has been on the news. It is an amazing view, it really is, it's lovely. And it's nice that we've got a signal because we can show it you all as well. But yeah, like I say, it was in the news and on TV, BBC, ITV, they've all been here. Because there are so many reports from locals. They report going to church, and as they're in there are people sat by them. Pictures have been taken, and where you can clearly see people are sat, it clearly looks like spirits are sat by them. This has been reported and reported and reported, and the news got hold of it, There is some videos on YouTube that investigate this and they show you the pictures. I'm not allowed to show you the pictures. I've got copies on, but I can't show them to you because I don't own any of the rights, so I'm not allowed to. But the people that did the investigation, they are on YouTube. You can see the images. And they are strange, to say the least. There are people sat next to actual people. You can clearly see it. And they're not the same person, just doubled in an image and it's just gone wrong. It's something completely different. One of them's wearing a hat. The person next to it is a lady that wasn't wearing a hat. So, hi Claire.
Hi, Claire. Kim, thank you for sending the stars.
Thank you very much. So, where was I? Yeah, as I said, YouTube videos exist of the initial investigation and of the BBC and ITV news reports. It made national news, and it was all due to the pictures that were taken both inside and outside, because there's a picture outside where you can clearly see it looks like 3 people walking off. You can see through them. The picture was taken of I think someone was taking a picture of a tree at the time, and you can see 3 people. So as a result, that got included into the investigation, and the place is known by locals to be extremely full of spirits. One in particular, very helpful. Obviously, other sightings are that of William Shakespeare himself, walking the grounds, sitting by the tree, which we can't get down to, but I wanted to show it to you, and also entering the church via the sealed entrance. The other one, as we said, the Phantom Miller, patrolling the grounds, up and down Church Lane, up to the pond to our right hand side now where his horses drink from. And he's known to be quite stern, quite negative, a little bit aggressive, shall we say. Yes, guys, please do take plenty of screenshots, because we're aware the story up here does show a lot of spirits walking around. People have captured them on pictures. I don't have the rights to those pictures. So
Ian will put up the post after the live as well.
I will put up a post afterwards asking for the screenshots, so if you can take plenty, please do.
Claire, thank you for the stars.
Thank you very much.
By the way, I'm just putting out there, we are not recreating Romeo and Juliet.
No. No.
Okay.
No.
I'm glad we cleared that up.
No. And there will not be a Montague and Capulet battle either, so we won't go down that route, guys. Right, but the other thing that's heard here often is horses. Now, there may well be horses around here. Looking at the houses, they're definitely the kind of place that would happen. So they're very, very affluent houses. As a result, it wouldn't surprise me if we did hear them, but the horses that I heard are actually attributed to being the Phantom Millers.
Yeah, thank you for sending the stars earlier as well, Emma.
As I say that's a stable. That is literally a stable, isn't it? So yeah, footpath, horses in field, keep the footpath. So horses being heard wouldn't be an uncommon thing. Like I say, multiple spirits seen in the church, around the grounds of the church, on Church Lane itself, and up at the fields where both the pond and the trees. It's all one lane, and it ends just after the field where the trees. It's all called Church Lane.
Jess, who would make a great fairy, me or Ian?
There's also the rather helpful spirit, that spirit was actually what one of the interviews was about. That's on YouTube. And the lady in question was placing Saw books onto the seating and didn't put them in any kind of order, just dropped them down. And then when she returned, they'd been stood up nice and neatly. Oh yeah, you're right. They'd been stood up nice and neatly, and to the point where people recognised that she'd done it. Only she knew she hadn't. And that kind of freaked her out a bit. From that point, every time she went into the church, she's absolutely adamant she was touched. She could see figures sitting in the benches. When she left the church, she could see figures walking around the cemetery itself. So this is, guys, an extremely active place. We can't actually go that way in because it loops here.
Wait, should we go this way?
Yeah, let's go this way. Doesn't really matter.
Remember last time we were inside a church?
Yeah. Yeah, and we had stuff thrown at us.
Yeah.
That was nice. Yeah, guys, the last time we went into a church, it was actually at the one that we couldn't get a signal on and it kept going off. So we did the pre-record. And if you've watched it back, guys, we're in the church at the end of the pre-record. And we have stuff thrown. Literally thrown. You know what, since that point, we've been to a lot of places and things have been thrown to us. Hasn't it?
Yeah.
Come to think of it, we've been to quite a few places.
We had the one at Bridge North the other week.
Yeah. And then there was stuff thrown last week, wasn't there? So there's also, guys, a lot of reports of people hearing children playing. Now I'm aware we're amongst houses, so there could be children. We can't hear them right now. We could hear people playing or saying like they were playing at the sports club down the road. We can't hear that now. So if we hear any noises, it's not currently happening. A lot of people do attribute noise to children playing. Other than the miller, we're not aware of much in the way of negative activity here. And the miller is more protective of the land than anything else. So, as you can see, we're heading back down to the church.
Yeah, so it's always me the stuff we're throwing at, everyone's saying.
Well,
to be fair, I'd
if
probably...
the spirit didn't do it, mate,
I'd probably throw something at Connor. Yeah. Do you know what? If you guys are throwing money at me, I wouldn't mind. You take that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Money's thrown at you.
Very aware currently, guys, we are being observed.
Are we? Where from?
There's someone walking anything behind us just watching.
Do you know when that one person says don't look and make it obvious?
And then you turn straight around.
I just turn around and look straight.
The bloke that was putting stuff in the bin, he follows us down the lane.
Oh.
Now that's where you can tell, guys, we're in an area that is 100% locals.
Yeah, it's not you who throws stuff at me, is it?
Well, there was someone to witness the fact that I never threw anything at you last week. So, like I say, guys, that's the usual way in. But we're going to walk back to where we were and go through the other part. Because by doing so, we're out of sight.
Oh, Sammy, you can't say that. The village has eyes. That's going to creep me out for the rest of the video now.
Do you know what it does? Because I've just looked back and why would that bloke in a dressing gown be walking down just looking at it? He stood there. He's just round the bend. So I mean, we're doing nothing. We're walking on a public footpath.
Jess has put like the village on hot fuzz. And they're going to go yarp. Yarp.
Let's hope they don't.
The hills have eyes. That's the saying I've heard before.
Right, so we're just walking back up to where we started the live, guys.
Narp.
Because from this point we can get into the graveyard and we're not actually seen by any of the houses. So I'm hopeful the bloke that's just followed us down the road has actually left now. This stuff's new.
I was going to say these get newer, didn't
Don't
they?
want them.
This side.
It's the building itself we were here for. But all the older stuff is this part.